Most of us are familiar with C.S. Lewis. He's an English scholar of classics and a Christian apologist. He wrote books like Mere Christianity and The Chronicles of Narnia. One of his books, The Four Loves, was a classical understanding of the four types of love as understood in the Greek language. And most of us are pretty familiar with the differences between the words like phileo, which is about where we get the word Philadelphia, and brotherly love, and agape and storge. There's just different words that have different meanings, and that was not the part of the book that stood out to me most. The part that stood out to me most was that in that book he said that love always causes pain, which at first I kind of rebelled against. Like, no, it doesn't. But the older I get, the more I realize that that's true. For a number of reasons. One, because the people we love and the people who love us are imperfect. And we ourselves are imperfect. And so, all too often, when we love someone, we end up hurting them, not always intentionally, oftentimes unintentionally, and sometimes people unintentionally hurt us. So even the best love, because of our imperfection, can result in pain. Furthermore, every relationship ends. Because we are confined by time, relationships break. Sometimes relationships end because people drift apart. Sometimes relationships end painfully and dramatically and abruptly, and that causes pain. And sometimes they end because of death. But all relationships end, and the ending of those relationships, the ending of that love, with that person present, is a source of pain. And I started to kind of recognize that love is, in order to love, we must give someone the permission to hurt us. We must be willing to take on that risk if we are going to love the way that we should. Now, there are people who want to avoid that pain, who for whatever reason cannot embrace the possibility of being vulnerable, can't embrace that kind of vulnerability that is required to be able to love in the way that they should. And we should all understand that, right? The more deeply we love, the more deeply it hurts when that relationship ends. The pain we feel at a loved one's funeral is a reflection of the depth of the love that we knew for them. But C.S. Lewis goes on, and this is the part that intrigued me the most. He said that there are only two places where we can avoid the pain of love. One is in heaven, where we aren't confined by time or our imperfections in the same way, and so love has the possibility of being perfected. And he said the other place, interestingly enough, where you can avoid the pain of love, the other place is hell. Now, whatever you believe about the existence of hell, to say that hell is a place where love is not feels theologically acceptable, even if you just understand it as a metaphor. But the thing that interested me in that is that sometimes in our desire to avoid the pain that comes with the vulnerability of loving the way we should, we choose hell. We choose not to love. And, friends, that's not a solution. Love requires vulnerability. Love often, one might even say always, results in pain. But the alternative is no alternative at all.